Good evening from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania,
Hello.
where I'm joined by Annabelle, who in
Hi.
this group is Romika Annabelle. But for the YouTube viewing audience, you know her as Annabelle. I haven't been doing anything in here lately, so I don't know if anyone would be notified to. Yeah, I guess someone's notified. I see one person join you. Anyway, for the setting, here we go. This is the Dar es Salaam city center overlooking the Indian Ocean. Here are, I'm trying to point, there are the three towers that are the tallest buildings in East Africa. And over here, if I can point correctly, probably not. Yeah, that's the Dar es Salaam port that lines the water right next to the city center with this, I think it's a peninsula, Kigamboni. I forget. It looks like an island. So there's this area right across here that has the appearance of being an island, and you take a ferry to get from the city center over to there, Kigamboni, or you wind your way around town and there's a bridge off in the distance that way. But it's actually not an island, and yeah, it's connected by land. But it's a really interesting cityscape to have in the city center. And if you go down and walk out and about here in the city center, it looks nothing like this seemingly luxurious setting right here, where here we are at the rooftop bar on the Hyatt Regency here in Dar, with the towers and the skyline lit up at dusk. That was a Freudian slip. I say dusk because the city center itself down on the streets is actually very dusty, a bit polluted, I might add. I like the hustle and bustle. Maybe I can show you more of the water. Yeah, so the Indian Ocean wraps around the city center here, going from the port area, wraps around here where the Zanzibar ferries come in and out, and then heads down this way where there's the State House, interesting to bring up at this time, the president's official residence, and Barack Obama Drive, and then that leads off to the peninsula, the more upscale expat type area, down a ways that way. We've been spending most of our time since arriving here on the peninsula rather than in the city center. I like the hustle and bustle of the city center, but I think you prefer the peninsula area.
When I'm honest, I don't like Dar es Salaam, but it's a life experience.
Okay, you've had a rough time here in Tanzania, not just in Dar. I don't think you've had a rough time in Dar. I don't think anything bad has happened. And maybe knock on glass, nothing bad does happen. But we've had our share of problems in Zanzibar, which I should probably write about or broadcast about in this group. I haven't yet. I still am very bullish on this country. You don't like it whatsoever. Maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I just want to touch on what I was saying. It's an interesting time to be mentioning the State House. Some of you might have heard the news that Tanzanian President John Magufuli died. His death was announced on March 17th, so that's a week and a half ago? A little more than a week ago. Just today, and it's probably wrapping up right about now, is his funeral. His body was brought all around the country. His death is notable for many reasons. One of which, it was his decision not to lock down Tanzania.
That's a good thing, you know. That's basically what I like about this country is that nobody is wearing masks. And in Zanzibar, the flora and fauna is amazing. And that's about it.
Sante sana. You've got your chocolate waiting for you. I don't remember what chocolate dish it was. So...
It's a chocolate cake.
You want to show it off?
Yes.
So Magufuli really bucked the international trend. He's gone against basically the entire mainstream, mainline thinking, mainline medicine, mainline governance worldwide when it comes to all things COVID. So not only was there no lockdown, there was a very brief lockdown here back at the beginning of the world changing dramatically last spring. But from what I heard, it wasn't such a strict lockdown, and then the country reopened, and unlike other countries that reopened, Tanzania really reopened. Tanzania reopened without a COVID test requirement to get in. Tanzania reopened without mandated masks and social distancing and rules prohibiting public gatherings and all that. And Magufuli ruffled a lot of feathers internationally. He said he didn't want any of the vaccines here. And basically all the mainline all the critics who fall in line with the mainline thought on COVID were very, very, very critical of Magufuli, and then other people who happen to think that they should be able to go about their lives as they wish and not be coerced into various COVID measures, complying with various COVID measures, they really hailed Magufuli. And over the months leading up to his death, which was sudden, but then also not so sudden, maybe I'll get into that, maybe not, there were conspiracy theories flying. Like, I think you yourself even said, someone's gonna kill him.
Yeah, I said that from the beginning because, he was against the World Health Organization's recommendations, and one of the only countries where they didn't have the mask mandates, and all shops were open and kids were allowed to go to school, nobody had to social distance, tourism continued, so it's nice, that's really nice.
Maybe this stream is more suited for my YouTube channel. Maybe I should get on restream.io or what, I forget, what's IBS and Restream? I should be doing something like that and restream it on my YouTube channel where people would actually be tuned in. But I see 3 of you. Thank you for tuning in. Especially hi, Katya. So for months, people more in line with your line of thinking were saying, like something's going to happen. Like the U.S. is going to invade Tanzania or something like that. Now, fast forward to late last month, Magufuli disappeared from public view at the end of last month, and he wasn't seen for a couple weeks, a little more than a couple weeks. During the time that he was missing, there was all kinds of speculation about what happened to him. There's an opposition leader in exile saying he got COVID and was flown out of the country and was receiving treatment internationally for COVID, and that guy claims he ultimately died of COVID. And then the Tanzanian government was denying all that, although saying very little, other than at one point saying that he was perfectly fine and healthy and working hard. But then they changed their tune and they announced his death and announced that he died of a heart condition. Now, regardless of what actually happened to him, and I should note that for many people, probably the vast majority of the country, this is very hard for them to take, very sad news. Magufuli was really beloved here. I don't think I've ever been in a country in which a president was as widely beloved as he was. I'm racking my brain to try to think of somewhere I've been where a president had as much widespread support as he did, which you wouldn't really read in the international media because there's so much critique of him being dictatorial and authoritarian.